Guys, listen up, man. Pay attention to this one, man. Not again. Not today. We not falling for the shenanigans. Listen up. We all know yesterday, right? LeBron James, he picked up that, contract extension. What you find ironic, because immediately after Rich Paul basically sends the Lakers a ransom note, letting them know that LeBron James basically will be prepared to leave if they do not give this man a championship caliber team. Now, what does that really mean? When you look at it, it means LeBron's full of shit. Because he just came out last week talking about how championships don't matter. Basically saying it's all about stats. And basically saying that winning is not the end all be all for basketball. Which anybody who's been watching basketball their whole life knows for a fact that that's BS. How do we know that that's BS? Because all of the greats, who are the greats? When we talk about GOATs, right? Top 10. You always got Michael Jordan, right? You got Magic Johnson. You got Bill Russell, Kareem. You got Tim Duncan, Kobe Bryant, of course, Shaquille O'Neal. Those are like the top. Oh, and Wilt Chamberlain. Those are like the top dogs. And Larry Bird. And out of everybody I just named, what are they known for? Winning. Winning at the highest level. Championships. All of them at least got 3, except for Wilt. So we know this. We know that everything that LeBron is talking about is nonsense. Why? Because he likes to rewrite history. He wants to rewrite history to suit him. He realizes that the younger generation don't know nothing about the older generation. And when they go to look up highlights, they're going to find something from 1950 where it really looked like nobody could shoot the basketball because forms were off and nobody was really coordinated like they are today. Today's game offensively looks great. When you look at the 1950s and you watch basketball in black and white, looks awful. So therefore, they're going to equate those times with every different era of basketball outside of where LeBron played. Which is kind of ironic because LeBron actually played with Shaq. He actually played against Tim Duncan. He actually played against Kobe Bryant. But basically anything before them is basically trash. And that's the narrative that he's going to continue to push. Honestly, he might push it to the day he dies. And I'm not talking about retirement. I'm talking about the day he actually dies. That being said, to him, championships allegedly don't matter. But he wants to put a ransom note against the Lakers that they better supply him with a championship-ready team. But how can they do that when you decide to pick up a $52.6 million player option? One thing else that we don't talk about, most of the greats, about 90% of them, took pay cuts to win championships, guys. And it's not even just in basketball. In football, Tom Brady, for example, most of them took a pay cut in order to win. Tim Duncan. We can go on and down the list. When salary caps mattered in the league, you took a pay cut to win. Because honestly, you playing basketball and you worth way more than what they're paying you. So anyway, outside of this generation, of course, this generation is just getting, the contracts they're getting is unbelievable. Every other generation would have killed to get the amount of money that these guys get. Either way you look at it, guys, LeBron James picking up his player option basically means that the Lakers can't do diddly squat because now over the last couple years there's a hard cap and there's a second apron that you really just cannot cross no matter who you are in the league, no matter how many billions you have. That being said, LeBron's taking up 34% of the cap. That basically means that they can't do anything in free agency. They can barely even resign Dorian Finney-Smith, which they didn't. So all of this is just bold and bashful threats that basically mean nothing if you're the Lakers and you have a brain. Because if it was me, I would have wanted LeBron to leave anyway in free agency. I would want him to leave. Why? It's not because you hate LeBron. It's not even. This has nothing to do with hate. It's just that LeBron isn't a winning caliber player anymore. He's not. He hasn't been for years. But just to show the proof, this year, he was named to a second All-NBA team. All-NBA team second tier. But the funny thing about that is that he's the only player to basically ever be named in an All-NBA team to have a minus on the plus minus. He was a minus 54 last year. He was a net negative for his team. That's what that means, guys. For all y'all who's already, about to hit the comment section and say this is hate, that's just what that means. He was a negative for his team. Stephen A. Smith just came out a few days ago. Named LeBron as the top 4 best player in the NBA. Now, how the fuck can you be the top 4 best player in the NBA when you're a minus 54 for your team? Exactly. It's nonsense. It's Clutch Sports spinning their wheels, getting in people's heads, telling them they better rank LeBron higher than what he really is. And if you're the Lakers and you've watched LeBron long enough, you should have a brain to realize he's not that guy. He's not. And for those of you who think he's that guy, right? Where do you rank Luka? Luka wasn't really ranked last year because he missed like 50 games. So he didn't make any accolades. The year before, he was considered the 3rd best player in the league. Or 2nd, right? We know where he's at. We know how great he is. All we've heard all offseason is that he's conditioned himself to be even better than he ever was. We'll see if that's true or not. Whether it's true or not, we still know Luka's a great player. So if you got a top 4 player in LeBron, right, which is what they're trying to say, it was what ESPN is pushing, and basically a top 3 player in Luka Doncic, that should automatically end in you being in the NBA Finals. Not bounced out the first round by the Minnesota Timberwolves, trying to blame everybody else but your 2 best players in the game. This is why people criticize LeBron. This is why. He's always ballyhooed and talked about, no matter what age he is, as being some top dog in the league. On basketball, I'm not talking about his name, his personality, just from a basketball court perspective on the field. That's how they rank him. But if that were true, the Lakers should be doing a lot more winning than they are now. You want to know how else I know this could be true? Well, if LeBron's top 4, let's just sub him for any other player that's top 4. Let's keep Luka on the team, take LeBron out, let's add Giannis. How far do you think that team goes with Giannis and Luka? Forget everybody else. Let's just say the same roster. Let's say Reeves, Rui Hachimura, everyone else. If you took LeBron out, and I want to see this in the comment section, you just added Giannis. Where does that team rank? If you took LeBron out and added Jokic, how far does that team go in the playoffs? If you took him out and added Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, how far does that team go in the playoffs, guys? I want to know. The answer is they most likely win the championship, and it's probably not even hard. It's probably a walk to the championship. So if that's the case, why is that not possible with LeBron? Why is it with LeBron, the Lakers often seem to be a 7 seed in the play-in tournament, right? They're often, and every year in the play-in tournament. They were a 3rd seed this year, but the difference between the 3rd seed and the 7th seed was 2 games. 2 games, guys. If they would have lost 2 more games, they'd be in the play-in tournament. Do you guys get what I'm saying here? It's not just to hate. It's just what it is. Look at the teams. Pay attention to what you're watching, and you will see that that's just nonsense. So with that being said, let's look at what the Lakers had planned for LeBron, because he picked up that $52 million option. He ain't playing. He won his bread. But when you look at the reports that came out immediately after, the Lakers reportedly are preserving cap space for 2027 and plans to pursue a max contract player. The Lakers basically said, all right, LeBron, we get it. You want to win. We're putting you on a 2-year shelf life. And honestly, I think it's really 1 year. Because he's going to be a free agent after this year, right? And if he doesn't announce his retirement during the season, which is what I expect him to do, they might just say, hey, LeBron, thanks for your services. Because honestly, if you keep him and then just try to sign somebody in 2027, it's even harder because you're going to be in a second apron if you re-sign LeBron for max money again. So they might just, I think this is putting LeBron on notice immediately. But let's read the report. Los Angeles Lakers reportedly plan to have a conservative offseason as they prepare for the future. Conservative offseason means they want to stay under the second apron. They want to do that so they can preserve their cap for someone better than LeBron. They know he's done. That's what this means. They know he's cooked. They know it's over. What they really just want is that farewell tour so they can generate that revenue, because they didn't get any revenue from LeBron when he won that bubble ring. So they want to generate some type of revenue and move on. Per ESPN, David McManaman, Los Angeles Lakers have exercised discipline in its negotiations with free agent forward Dorian Finney-Smith, who ultimately signed with the Houston Rockets, as we already know, on Monday, as the team looks to save cap space for 2027, when in hopes to add a max contract free agent. Now, I got something I got to tell y'all, but I'm going to continue reading this because this gets better. Though the Lakers didn't sign Finney-Smith after his productive season with the team, they ended up getting access to $14.1 million and not for the non-taxpayer mid-level exception as a result of his signing elsewhere. Basically, they signed this guy, Jake LaRavia. Don't know who he is. I'll look into him later. But basically, when you read this, they didn't sign Dorian Finney-Smith because LeBron picked up his contract. So that's less talent that LeBron has on his team. As we know, DeAndre Ayton, free agent, he's already getting paid from the Trailblazers. I think they're going to push hard for him. I'm not saying he's the best option because his defense is to be desired. Offensively, though, great pickup, high motor, was a number one pick before, has the athleticism. Let's see what Luka could do with this guy. But why is this important? Why are the Los Angeles Lakers, if you're reading this report, why are they trying to save cap space for 2027? Why? Is it because they're giving LeBron 2 more years? No. It's because they're putting LeBron on notice. In 2 years, you're done. Honestly, I think they're saying in 1 year. But why would they do this all of a sudden? Because they want to make sure they have that bread for Giannis Antetokounmpo, who is set to be a free agent after the 2027 NBA season. He has a player option, which we all know he's going to opt out of. This was the year that Giannis was supposed to request a trade. But you have to ask yourself, why didn't he? Why did he decide not to ask for a trade? I've been wanting to talk about this for a few videos, so I'm going to break it down right now. The reason why Giannis decided not to ask for a trade, in my opinion, because he still could in the next month or so, it'd be late as hell, but he could if he wanted to. He could do it in the middle of the season if he just can't take it no more. But I think he knows in his mind that that would just be stupid. Because we've seen players recently, Kevin Durant, who asks for trades, and then the team that trades for them gives up the farm. Any team And Giannis is better than Kevin Durant even when he asked for the trade and younger. If any team right now trades for Giannis Antetokounmpo, whether it's the Spurs, the Rockets, anybody but the Thunder, let's be real, and they say, I want to trade for Giannis, they're giving up 18 million picks, right? You're going to have to give up a star caliber player. You're going to have to give up 2 to 3 role players to match the salaries. You're going to have to gut your entire roster to the point where you have to ask yourself, once we get Giannis, can we even win? Most of the roster will have to be gutted. You won't have enough. You want to know how we know this? Because every team in the Giannis Sweepstakes don't have enough to win right now anyway without him. The only team, in my personal opinion, that could legitimately trade for Giannis and still win championships, like just go off on a tear and win championships, would have to be the Oklahoma City Thunder. Why? Because they have like 3 draft picks this year they had like 4 draft picks next year, 5 draft picks the year after that with like 2 or 3 pick swaps, of course. Some of these are pick swaps. And I'm talking about first round picks. They got like another 5 the year after that. They could toss the Milwaukee Bucks 8 draft picks if they wanted to, and it wouldn't even hurt them. It wouldn't even matter. And then they could just give up Chet Holmgren or Jalen Williams, but in that situation, most likely Chet Holmgren, right? You give up Chet Holmgren, just even swap for Giannis, some other player to max the contract that's not Alex Caruso, to max contracts, max salaries, if they even need to, because I don't even know what apron the Thunder are on. And then just a couple of picks, and they'd be fine. It wouldn't be anything like what the Clippers did with Paul George when they gave up all their draft picks and basically couldn't make any moves afterwards. The Thunder would still be able to make so many more moves because they'll have so many other draft picks. So if in the middle of the season they find holes, they could just fill them up and give up even more draft picks. That's how many draft picks the Thunder have. Unlike any other team. It's honestly incredible when you see the genius route that the Thunder organization has went through in order to contend. It's incredible. So when I look at this, when I pay attention to LeBron's antics, the Lakers want to get in on this, bro. They want to get in on the Giannis Sweepstakes, and it's honestly obvious. That's how I look at this as a bombshell report. Because they know LeBron's out of here. Fans have been asking and wondering for years, when would a LeBron destructive train end? And I think we got an answer, guys. I think we have a legitimate answer. And I think Giannis has let people know he's going to leave in free agency. Now, one thing I always, can respect about LeBron's decisions, even though you don't like the fact that he pairs up super teams, and always has to have 2 other superstars with him. The one thing you can give him credit for is that he always left in free agency. And if you're the player, he did start player empowerment, but if you're the player, that's the best thing you can do. LeBron took a lot of 1 and 2 year deals to add on to that, which was just smart. Why? Why allow these teams, right? Why sign a 4-year deal with a team, especially when I don't have any loyalty, because we all know LeBron is loyal to nobody but himself, and he's a narcissist. But contractually, if I want to go somewhere else, why sign a big ass deal that locks me up for 2 or 3 years of my personal life? I'm on a time shelf. If Giannis decides, and I'm not personally saying Giannis should leave Milwaukee, he could wait around and see if they could build around him. You know what I'm saying? I'm not personally saying he should leave. But if he does decide, I've given him a championship, they're a small market team, I want to go elsewhere, I want to go and contend, and trust me, he will have his pick of the litter in 2027. I'm pretty sure it'll be at least 10 teams who will save the cap space for this man, including the Lakers. He's that big of a dude, and he's that great of a player. Now, if that's what he decides to do, what's smart about it is to leave as a free agent. Now, that sucks for the organization and their fan base because they don't get anything. No draft picks, no way to recover. They're just basically fucked for 2 or 3 years. They immediately should start tanking and try to see if they can get a top pick. And you're done. You have no cushion. But that's the big debate of this all. Who do you really care about in that situation? The player or the team? And I guess it depends on what side of the fence you're on. Now for the Lakers. What would a Giannis Luka Doncic pairing look like? I'm pretty sure it's incredible. I'm not even personally saying I want that, although I would love to watch it. It would be, great and awesome and all of that. I'm not personally saying I want that because you basically add in the 2 top 4 players. You basically doing, what LeBron did back in the day. And I kind of get tired of super teams and all of that nonsense. But Giannis is the type of player that I think should be a Laker because he will bring that dog back into the league. I think he's a hustler. I think he plays great. He's a two-way player at that, right? Highly defensive. I think he's a winner. He's always been my favorite player in the league. He's my favorite player in the league. So I would love to see him as a Laker, but at the same time, I don't like teams that aren't really organic. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you guys that I'm pushing for any of this to happen. The only thing that I would be pushing for and that I am pushing for is for LeBron James to get the hell out of Dodge. That's the only thing that I care about. So you guys let me know what you think about this bombshell that dropped that the Lakers basically did, which went underreported, of course, because they don't want to disrespect LeBron. But they put this man on notice. Look at this. They put this man on notice. You're out of here. Hey, what Craig Mack say? You won't be around next year. That's what they did. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section, man. Appreciate you guys watching this video. And I'm up out of here, man.